Hello, happy Monday. Yes, there is such a thing as a happy Monday, especially when you have beautiful weather like this. It is the 11th day of July, 2022. I am Dan Koontz, and we have gathered once again before the warmth of our television sets to, well, I don't know what we're going to do. We have a beautiful morning right now. It's 61 degrees, bountiful sunshine. Had a great weekend. Temperature's just about perfect, mid-80s on Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to warm up. High pressure over the region. Not going to last a long time, but it's certainly we're going to see considerably warmer temperatures today and especially tomorrow than what we had over the weekend. We were 86 on Saturday and 85 on Sunday. It was actually a little cooler by a degree. Our normal high is 87. We'll be in the 90s today. Warmer still on Tuesday. Gradual cool down for the weekend, and I mean gradual cool down. A forecast I think you're going to like is coming up. Plus, we'll have your latest headlines. It was a very good weekend for the Seattle Mariners and the Wenatchee Apple Sox. I like it when I can tell you that. Mariners have won 8 in a row, and for the first time in franchise history, they swept the Blue Jays, and they did it at T-Mobile Park. A very exciting game yesterday. I watched it. We'll have highlights of that when we get to sports and everything else you need to start your day this Monday. Let's see what we have out there. Once again, the good captain is pushing buttons. Our normal producer, Mr. Darby, will return to action tomorrow. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Looks like we got that PTZ camera zoomed about as far back as it's going to go. And we are still having, as you can see by the little left-hand corner of your screen, that little abutment sticking out, we still have green grass in the foothills. Normally by this time, mid-July, we're all baked out, but that's not the case, especially on those north-facing slopes that don't get the direct sunlight, still holding in that moisture. So it's rather greenery in the hills surrounding the Wenatchee Valley and north central Washington, for that matter. Days are getting a little bit shorter. Sunrise this morning was at 5:16, sunset tonight 8:56. So the days are getting shorter, but you can't really tell. It's not that bad. Camera number 2. We're going to pay a visit to, well, I'm trying to think what camera the good captain has us on here. I want to say maybe the Rock Island camera. And he has that pointed out towards Spanish Castle and the Palisades. Interesting view there, Captain. I like that. You can see a little sliver of the Columbia River. You can see the orchards and Clockham Ridge. That's why they call the golf course in Quincy Clockham Ridge, because you have a great view of that. That's a cool view. I like that. That's from a Rock Island camera, but we have it pointed to the south and the east, an angle we don't normally use. Cool. I like that. Camera number 3. That, of course, is Billy Goat, USA. Good morning to the Columbia River, the Methow River. The Alta Lake Golf Course is below you, but you can't quite make it out. If that big ridge wasn't there, we'd be looking at Bridgeport. Brewster's on your far left-hand side of the corner, and way off into the distance, and I mean way off, is Canada, which is not America. And camera number 4. That's a cool view of, I don't know, I want to say maybe that's the Badger Mountain camera. Okay, that's not the Badger Mountain camera. It's the Butte camera? Okay, so that's up in Chelan, looking back towards like Waterville. Is that what we're looking at? That's the Chelan. That's right on top of the Chelan Butte. So if we flip that baby around, we'd be looking at Lake Chelan, but we're not. We're looking almost due east towards the Waterville Plateau. So the good captain, once again, as he did all of last week, is throwing up angles, and I'm not used to, which is fine. It's his. You're welcome to, Captain. All right, let's throw up a slide here from the National Weather Service, let you know what we're looking at warmth-wise. And yeah, we're going to warm right up. Take a look at Wenatchee. We're in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. As you can see, Moses Lake's going to get hot. Out of the Columbia Basin, close to triple digits. In fact, a few locations tomorrow are going to get probably to triple digits, depending on how warm it is. Right now, it's already 70 in Ephrata. So Ephrata, you have a chance to get to mid-90s today and certainly 100 out of the Columbia Basin tomorrow. Not quite that warm for the Wenatchee Valley, but still pretty darn warm. Warm for everybody as that high-pressure ridge continues to build over the region. Tuesday, as you can see there, the warmest day, not only of the summertime, but the warmest day of the year so far. And eventually, we're going to have to start thinking a little bit about wildfires, because we're going to start getting really hot Maybe a little bit of breezes at times. So you folks in the out in the basin, I don't know. By the way, there is a possible weekend system that could bring a chance of showers back to our area once we get to the weekend, but that's down the road. In the meantime, from the National Weather Service, here we go. Sunshine today. I think we can safely call it hot. 92 for our afternoon high. 66 for the overnight low. I'm glad that my air conditioning works. I had it on most of the weekend. 97. Been a long time since we had 97, but that's what we're looking at on Tuesday. Look at the overnight low. Very mild, mid-60s for the overnight low tonight and Tuesday night. Then we start cooling down a little bit on Wednesday. Still quite a bit of sunshine, but a few passing clouds as the ridge of high pressure begins to shift further and further to the east, and that's going to really warm up Montana and the Idaho Panhandle and eventually out to the Dakotas. But we'll cool down a little bit on Wednesday. Then a slight uptick with a high of lower 90s on Thursday and Friday. We cool down a little bit on Saturday and a little bit more on Sunday. Very little wind in the forecast. Maybe a little breezy at times Wednesday and Wednesday night, but that's really about it. That's as simple a forecast as we can possibly give you. After all, it is mid-July, and that's what we're used to. It's 6 minutes after the hour. After a 1 minute break, we will have your Monday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Bob's Burgers and Brews in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy great food, great service, and a great time. Only the best for our guests. We look forward to serving you. Stop on by today.
The NCW Life Channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCW Life Channel today.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. We can move this up.
Great, I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Eight minutes after the hour, lots of sunshine, 63 degrees, lower 90s today, 97 on Tuesday, hottest day of the year. We'll cool down. We'll still have quite a bit of sunshine, typical mid-July weather for the Wenatchee Valley, and I'm all for that. Your headlines on this Monday: if you think there are more mosquitoes around the Wenatchee Valley this year than in previous years, you're right, there are. And the Chelan County PUD says high river levels, plus that cool and wet spring, has led to more mosquitoes hanging around Wenatchee than we normally see. On July 19th, the PUD will be taking measures to reduce the mosquito populations around Confluence State Park and the Horan Natural Area. The PUD plans to use a larvicide known by the brand name Vectolex GC. They say the pellets are safe to use around people and pets. If all goes as scheduled, the PUD will begin applying the larvicide at 8 in the morning on July 19th. Get rid of those little buggers. Invasive aquatic plants have become more prevalent in Lake Chelan than they were 8 years ago. That's the finding of a 2021 scientific survey that found 520 acres of invasive weeds in Lake Chelan's Wapato and Lower Lucerne basins. The main species of concern are the Eurasian milfoil and curly leaf pondweed. The study by Four Peaks Environmental found a much wider distribution of milfoil in particular compared to a similar report in 2014. Survey organizers say the findings will help future control efforts, but they clearly indicate the invasive weeds are now well established in Lake Chelan and they have the potential to spread further. Westbound travelers on I-90, you're going to encourage some delays most of this week as state crews repair bridge decks. The Washington State Department of Transportation said there will be a 24-hour-a-day lane closure on I-90 just west of the summit, beginning today and continuing through Thursday. The bridges under repair are at Franklin Falls and at Denny Creek. Record cold temperatures this spring and heavy rains that continued into summer pose all kinds of threats to north central Washington's cherry crops. On Friday, Congressmember Kim Schreier met with major fruit producers to learn how this year's rather strange weather might affect their bottom line. The 8th District Democrat sits on the House Agricultural Committee. She spoke with Wes Matheson, Mike Wade, and other produce executives at the Stemilt headquarters at Wenatchee's old station.
Well, there were a lot of takeaways. I came today to just take the pulse on the fruit industry. What has happened with this prolonged winter, with the late rain, with the hail, and how has that disrupted crops? And I've learned a ton today. Part of it is that we will not know the full impact of this crazy weather probably for months. That our farmers, our orchardists need some insurance and assurance that we'll have their backs. We talked about the Farm Bill and some of the changes needed. That involves some of those assurances. It also involves really thinking about specialty crops as we do this. When the season, the harvesting season is delayed by weeks, you can have workers who you are paying for sitting idle, and on top of that, they get penalized. Just like last year when we had record heat, I added heat, not just drought, but excessive heat as a subcategory where you could get that extra insurance. We are doing the same thing this year with weather, rain, and cold snaps because they've affected. And we know that there will be some effect just because the blossoms were impacted, and so we know fewer blossoms means fewer apples and cherries, but it can also impact the quality and the ability to store them successfully. And so again, we may not know the impacts until later, but I want to make sure that they have protection.
A new study by the Washington State Department of Natural Resources says there is a strong likelihood of a significant earthquake on the Seattle Fault in the next 50 to 500 years, and that would generate tsunami waves as high as 42 feet at the Great Wheel on the waterfront in Seattle. Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz used the giant wheel as a backdrop on Thursday as she discussed the study.
The Seattle Fault Zone runs across the Puget Sound and through our state's largest population center, the city of Seattle. It's imperative that we understand the hazards that are posed by an earthquake and subsequent tsunami along that fault. Recent research published by the Department of Natural Resources sheds light on where the worst impacts will be from the tsunami when, and this is not when, this is when, not if, actually, a quake strikes the Seattle Fault. We will have a quake at some point, and the question is just when will that happen? Now, the last earthquake on the Seattle Fault occurred about 1,100 years ago. The geologic record indicates a history of smaller, more frequent earthquakes every 700 years or so, placing us, unfortunately, well within the window for a seismic event. Scientists estimate about a 5 to 7% chance of an earthquake along the Seattle Fault in the next 50 years. According to our modeling, an earthquake of 7.5 magnitude would put where I'm standing right now, where you are all standing right now, under about 10 feet of water. Harbor Island, which houses so much of our maritime infrastructure, would be under as much as 40 feet of water, with tsunami waves reaching inland as far as Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park. Understanding these potential risks is critical to our preparation efforts to withstand them.
It's what's making headlines on this Monday. We're pretty much back to a full staff. A lot of people were taking some time off. It's that time of the year, summertime vacation, but we'll get together a newscast for you. We endeavor to do so every Monday through Friday. With the whole crew, we'll gather the news, disseminate the news, decide what the news is, and give it to you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And don't forget the news is also available for you to watch on our Facebook page and on our homepage. And with a preview, here's Jefferson Robbins.
Good morning, Dan. It's Monday, meaning tonight's NCW Live Evening News. We'll catch up with everything you missed over the weekend, plus some extras. Tonight, Grant Olson will be back in this chair, and he'll fill you in on all the top news. For instance, you know those harmful algae blooms that sometimes taint Moses Lake? Well, Congressman Dan Newhouse is asking for more than $3 million in federal spending to help combat those outbreaks. We'll have that full story, plus weather and sports tonight, as just like we do every night, 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you'll join us.
Thank you very much, Jefferson. And don't forget, if you have a news tip, and we've gotten some good stories from our viewers, chime in. We'd love to hear from you. Look at the bottom of your screen. You can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and click on the Contact Us icon. You can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can email us directly if you so desire, news@ncwlife.com. Good weekend for the Mariners. Make it 8 in a row. A good weekend for the Apple Sox. Plus results from the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, all coming up in sports. Also to be had yet, the obscure holidays, some celebrity birthdays today in history, and an opinion from the Mad Dog himself, Mike Magnotti. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Monday edition on the NCW Life channel.
Things have changed in the motorsports industry. Short supply and high demand have emptied showrooms. But what hasn't changed are the experts at Doghouse Motorsports. They are here to help you reserve the machine of your choice. Stop by and check out the latest 2022 Husqvarna motorcycles, UBCO, and Intense electric vehicles, and other new additions to the Doghouse Motorsports family of high-quality products.
Over the last year and a half, the industry's absolutely changed, but the Doghouse is still your best option for all your power sports needs.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
17 minutes after the hour, the Mariners sweep the Blue Jays right on out of the Emerald City. Carlos Santana is the hero. His 2-run home run, the difference, and they win 6-5. It was Seattle's 8th win in a row. It'll mark the first time that they swept the Blue Jays in a 4-game series in Mariner franchise history. Bo Bichette did all he could to prevent a Mariner victory. He belted the first of his 2 home runs on the very first pitch of the game.
A nice sunny afternoon here in Seattle. George Springer is in the box. Clint Vondrak is the home plate umpire. And how about the first pitch of the ball game is hit right on out of here by Springer.
Carlos Santana leads it off. They have the shift on for him. Pelton out to right field. This is back and gone. How about homers in back-to-back games? He ended it last night, and he gets it started today for the Mariners. He has tied it up in the second.
Tapia gives it a ride to the opposite field, and it's gone. Right into the Blue Jay bullpen, his 4th of the season, and the Jays are back on top. Up the middle and through, and that'll do it. Throw to the plate will be cut. It's a 2-run single and a 4-1 lead.
Phelps comes home. Moreno down to first base. It's dropped by Vlad. It trickles into right field. Frazier scores.
I think it went through his glove.
It went through his glove?
I think it went through his glove.
Very costly stitching here. Wow.
Right through his glove. Broke the webbing.
Hard hit grounder. Bichette. Low snag. Off balance throw. High. Julio is safe. Upton scores. It's a 1-run game. Swing the bat, young man. He does. The Mariners cash in. First pitch, slugged. Tapia makes the catch. Santana making his way home. Cal Raleigh has tied this game with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Here's a drive to left center by Bichette, and it will go. His 3rd hit of the afternoon puts the Blue Jays back on top.
Here is Santana. Oh boy, and it is high. Back at the wall. Does he get him again? He does! He does! He does! Carlos Santana! He has homered for the 3rd time in 2 games! Seawald's got it. The Mariners win. They've won 16 of their last 19. They are the hottest team in the game, and for the first time ever in franchise history, they sweep the Toronto Blue Jays in a 4-game series.
They're on fire right now, and again it comes down to the bullpen pitching today. Carlos Santana, what a couple of days for him. He's the difference in these 2 ball games with him hitting the 3 home runs.
Manager Scott Service said it was a combination of good luck, some pretty darn hitting by Carlos Santana, as you just saw, and good pitching from his starter.
We got a few breaks. Anytime you sweep a team, certainly a quality team like the Blue Jays have, you're going to need to get a few breaks, and we got a few today. But again, our pitching, I thought Logan threw the ball really well. He had a really good curveball today. He located the fastball well. The couple home runs, and then they put the one in against him, but he was able to obviously get through the 5th and then back out there, shut down inning in the 6th to give our offense a chance, and the bullpen continues to do a great job. Penn Murphy got one up. Bichette had a really good day. That happens. I say all that, and our team just kind of hangs in there. It keeps going, and it's games like this that you look up, how did we win it? Well, we got a few breaks, but you need to take advantage of them. Certainly the ball that got through Vlad's glove and the drop pop-up, led to a couple runs. And, you keep putting pressure on teams. You make them make plays. Good things happen. And credit to our guys. Really awesome weekend. Great crowds. A lot of energy in the ballpark. It's what Major League Baseball is supposed to be about. And a lot of our young players are getting to experience it for the first time in this rivalry. And it was great. Great weekend for us.
During the game, they announced that rookie sensation Julio Rodriguez was added to the All-Star roster.
It was just announced on Mariners Vision. You can see right there, announced to the crowd that Julio is an All-Star. Just seconds ago, he took his cap off, tipped it to the crowd, and threw a baseball into the J-Rod squad, the no-fly zone. What a moment for young 21-year-old Julio Rodriguez.
Congratulations to Julio. Unfortunately, Ty France, who finished second in the voting for first baseman, he didn't make the team, and neither did Logan Gilbert, for that matter. Seattle heads to our nation's capital tomorrow. A couple of games against the Nationals, and they wrap up the first half of the season at Texas, and then the All-Star break next week. While the Mariners have won 8 in a row, so have the Orioles. The O's scored 4 in the 4th and 4 in the 5th, beating the Angels 9-5. For the Angels, it was their 4th straight loss. Byron Buxton and Ryan Jeffers each homered for Minnesota. The Twins beat Texas 6-5. And Jake Odorizzi struck out 7 over 7 innings to lead Houston over Oakland 6-1. The Astros lead the Mariners in the American League West by 12 games, despite Seattle's 8-game winning streak. The Apple Sox scored 36 runs in a 3-game sweep at Nanaimo over the weekend, north of the border. They were rained out on Saturday night, so they played 2 7-inning games against the Night Owls on Sunday. Adam Fashel was 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs to lead Wenatchee to a Game 1 win. They won that one 6-3. And then Reese Littenberg pitched 3 innings of 2-run ball with 4 strikeouts to get the victory. In the nightcap, Game 2, Wenatchee brought 19 men to the plate, and they scored 13 runs in the 6th inning to win 18-1. Cole Miller went 4 for 5 at the plate with a home run and 3 RBIs. Jake Putnam earned his second win on the mound. He went 3 innings of hitless ball with 4 strikeouts. Wenatchee returns home to host the Dub C Fish Sticks, first of 2 non-league games tomorrow night at 6:35. Then we're going to be back at the ballpark on Friday when the Apple Sox welcome the Corvallis Knights to town. Eric Granston with the call. Live television Friday night, 6:30. Apple Sox baseball right here on the NCAA Live channel. Another West Coast Baseball League action on Sunday. Kelowna mopped up Edmonton 12-2. Victoria got by Kamloops 2-1. Calais edged Springfield 5-4. Bellingham continued to play well. They beat Port Angeles 11-7. Bend beat Corvallis 10-7. Portland pelted Walla Walla 10-2. And Yakima Valley rallied past Ridgefield 8-3. The Bells continue leading the West Coast League's North Division. They are now 21-8. That's 5 games better than Kamloops, 7 better than the Apple Sox. Perfect night of weather for Kids Night at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on Saturday. Okanagan's Evan Getz won the Jerry's Auto Supply Pro Late Model Main Event. Josh Roberts was second. Josh Ingram took third. Moses Lake's Brad Morrison grabbed the checkered flag in the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Car Main Event. East Wenatchee's Dale Wenenberg second, and Cameron Doyle finished third. You can make it 4 in a row for Jay Evans In the cow car as the Wenatchee driver took first in the main event for the Plum Perfect Roadrunners, Terry Cook second and Colton Fisher third. And two brothers from Ephrata duel for the checkered flag in the Angel Bell Bonds Bandolero main event. In the end, it was Cannon defeating his brother Caleb. Okanagan's Emerson Getz took third. In the visiting Johnson Electric Bump to Pass main event, Malaga's Josh Musgrove finished first. Squim's Ted Hutt was second, and Stanwood's Rick Yargis finished third. WVSO celebrates Thunder in the Valley this weekend. It's one of the biggest open wheel events in the Northwest. They got the Sprint Car Shootout with the Speed Tour Sprint Car Series, the Rockstar Energy B-Modified Mayhem Race, the Northwest Focus Midgets, and the West Coast Vintage Racers will all be there. WVSO.com for tickets. And finally, the Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks. Well, they came up short in the bid to win the American West Bowl on Saturday in the Tri-Cities. The Tri-City Rush finished an undefeated season. They beat the Skyhawks 57-32 to win their second consecutive championship. Wenatchee Valley trailed by just 10 points with 3 minutes to play, but an interception return for a touchdown on a 2-point conversion attempt sealed the victory for Tri-Cities, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. On this Monday, the 11th day of July, at 26 minutes after the hour, there were 5 obscure holidays I could choose from for my list. Today is National 7-Eleven Day, National Mojito Day, but none for me, I'm working. All-American Pet Photo Day, National Blueberry Muffin Day. Nothing wrong with that. But no, it's a local favorite. It's a local delicacy. It's National Rainier Cherry Day. Thank you, Harry Fogel of Washington State University. Harry Fogel, in 1952, crossbred Bing cherries and Van cherries and came up with Rainier cherries, which was, yes, named after Mount Rainier. We're spoiled because we get Rainier cherries all over the place here in north central Washington, but boy, these things go for a premium price in other countries. They're expensive in other prices. Not too bad here. They're sweet, that yellow flesh, easy to eat. They average about 2 to 3 centimeters in diameter. They're great for potassium. They're full of vitamin A and vitamin C. They're very sweet, one of the sweetest cherries out there to be had. They're also harvested earlier, and as I mentioned before, they claim a premium price for Rainier cherries in overseas countries, not so much here. I hope they have a good year for Rainier cherries. I'm told it's the only cherry that's going to have a good year this year. I had a few Rainiers over the weekend. I love cherries. They don't love me, but I can take my chances. 28 minutes after the hour, today in history, dueling you can't do that anymore. It wasn't even a good idea in 1804, for that matter. But this was how things were in 1804. The Vice President of the United States shot and killed the former Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton, in Weehawken, New Jersey. Yes, these two guys did not like one another very well. Alexander Hamilton dismissed Aaron Burr as a hack, even though he was the Vice President of the United States. Dueling was against the law in both New York and in New Jersey in 1804, but they did it in New Jersey because even though it was illegal in New Jersey, they didn't really prosecute people for dueling. So the political ramifications were a lot. Well, for one thing, Alexander Hamilton died, so he had a really bad day. Aaron Burr, as you might imagine, was arrested, charged with murder. Those charges were either dismissed or he was acquitted, but his political career was over. If you're the Vice President of the United States and you shoot and kill somebody in a duel, you can pretty much kiss your political career goodbye. Vice President of the United States Aaron Burr shoots to death Alexander Hamilton in a duel. They weren't standing that close. That's an artistic representation. July 11th, 1914, 108 years ago today, Babe Ruth makes his debut in Major League Baseball. Brought up by the Baltimore Orioles and became a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, Babe Ruth makes his Major League debut 108 years ago today as a pitcher for Boston. He struck out as a hitter in the first inning, but he did pitch the Red Sox to a 4-3 victory over Cleveland. Babe Ruth makes his Major League debut. I think he's going to turn out to be a pretty good baseball player. July 11th, 1960, 62 years ago today, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is first published. Of course, it was the only published book in Harper Lee's life until Go Set a Watchman, which was actually an earlier draft of To Kill a Mockingbird, which was published in July of 2015. To Kill a Mockingbird, as of yesterday, is number 21 on the American Library Association's list of the most challenged books in school libraries. In fact, it is not available, that book, To Kill a Mockingbird, is not available for checkout at any school library in Virginia. You have to get your parents' permission before you can check out and read To Kill a Mockingbird in Virginia at a school library, published 62 years ago today. Let's see, 43 years ago today, if you remember this, Skylab's going to come down over the sky. This is hilarious. This was a big thing, a huge media event. They actually sold Skylab repellent with a money-back guarantee. It was like Deep Woods Off. You spray it on your body and they guarantee that Skylab wouldn't hit you. They sold T-shirts and hats with bullseyes on them. It was every day, because they knew Skylab was going to come down. They just didn't know where it was going to come down. The San Francisco Examiner offered $10,000 for the first piece of Skylab to be delivered to their offices. Most of Skylab came down over the Indian Ocean, but some of it came down in Australia. Stan Thornton found 24 pieces of Skylab at his home in Western Australia. A Philadelphia businessman flew Stan, his parents, and his girlfriend. He flew them to San Francisco. He collected the Examiner prize of $10,000. He also got another $1,000 from the Philadelphia businessman. Skylab returned to Earth. At that time, it was the biggest object anybody had ever thrown up there in space. But it came back down, and thank goodness nobody was hurt. And finally, July 11th, 1982, 40 years ago today, the Cincinnati Enquirer features a contest in which readers are asked to pick the date and the time when the last place Reds would be eliminated from playoff contention. That was the contest. It started on Monday, July 11th, 1982. You would send in your entry, the date and the time when the Reds would be eliminated from the playoffs. First prize, 2 tickets to the last home game of the year. Second prize was 4 tickets to the last home game of the year. By the way, the Reds finished last. 33 minutes after the hour, just one celebrity birthday. We always do presidents. John Quincy Adams, who was not killed in a duel with Aaron Burr, was born in this state in 1767, lived a long time, lived to the age of 80. He was the 6th president of the United States. Many experts believe he may have been the smartest person ever to be president. He had an IQ of about 165. He was an aide to his father. He was second in his class at Harvard University. He was a diplomat to Holland. He was the first ambassador to Russia. He was a senator. He was the Secretary of State to James Monroe. We all know about the Monroe Doctrine. It was John Adams who actually wrote the Monroe Doctrine, not James Monroe. James Monroe got credit. He was also fluent in 8 languages. That's pretty impressive. He also remains to this day the only person ever elected president without winning either the electoral vote or the popular vote. There were 4 people running for president. They all got electoral votes. Nobody got a majority. In 1824, it was thrown to the House of Representatives. Political deals were made, and John Quincy Adams was elected president by the House of Representatives, even though he didn't win the popular vote nor the electoral vote. As president, he swam in the Potomac every morning, buck naked. He would get up at dawn and walk down to the Potomac River from the White House and strip down to nothing and take a dip. That's how he got his exercise. Thanks to John Quincy Adams, we have Florida. He was the one who cut the deal with Spain so we could acquire Florida. So next time you're in Florida, thank you to John Quincy Adams. And rather than retiring from public service after he lost re-election in 1828, he was elected to the House of Representatives out of Massachusetts, and he served for 18 years. He is the only president ever to be elected to the United States Congress, House of Representatives, after he left the office. Served for 18 years, died of a stroke at his desk at the age of 80. John Quincy Adams. 35 minutes after the hour, take a break. When we come back, Mike Mad Dog Magnotti has an opinion. Of what? I don't know. I just loaded it this morning. It's coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Anchi Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Oh,
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? With today's home values, this is the perfect time to sell and make those dreams real. When you work with a world-class agent at Coldwell Banker, you benefit from trusted guidance and our revolutionary Seller's Assurance program to make your home sale more rewarding than ever. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dronan, Managing Member at Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living. It's been a tough year for all of us, but especially for those working and living in senior care facilities. Over the course of these many difficult months, our staff at Epladolin has been vigilant in adhering to federal and state guidelines to protect and assure the safety of our residents and their caregivers. If you're in need of assisted living for a loved one, give us a call at Epladolin. We're here for you.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders, or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I've heard people say, I don't care what other people think. Well, I've said it myself. I'll bet you've said it too, but let's be honest. I don't think there's any of us out there that really don't care about what other people think about us. Well, maybe psychopaths don't care, but whatever. I had to admit that I do care what other people think of me. However, what I've also come to realize is that even though I care what people think, I often don't care enough to do anything about it. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve, the right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Hey, Wenatchee Valley, this is Ben Griffin. I'm here with my friend Eddie the Yeti. He wants to share some big news.
Arctic Refrigeration is now employee-owned and has a new name, Columbia Cooling and Refrigeration. I want you to remember this summer, when you're hot and sweaty, call the Eddie.
No, it's called the Yeti, Y-E-T-I, not called the Eddie.
Whatever. We are a factory-authorized Bryant dealer. Whatever it takes.
Give us a call at Columbia Cooling and Refrigeration at 509-662-5911.
This is the NCW Live concert calendar. Fridays, it's live music at Alta Cellars in downtown Manson from 4 to 7 p.m. Sunday, it's Succession Winery located between Chelan and Manson with live music from 2 to 5. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante present music on Mondays at 4 p.m. weekly. Check the individual websites for more information. That's the NCW Live concert calendar.
As AmeriCorps members and volunteers, we do more than talk about our core values. We take action and commit to making our community stronger.
At AmeriCorps, my commitment to equity gives every student a strong start.
Our compassion brings food and friendship to neighbors in need.
My determination protects parks in my community.
Now more than ever, your community needs you. What's at your core? Learn more at AmeriCorps.gov.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
The warm-up has begun. When we started this show, it was 60 degrees. We're now at 64 degrees. We'll be into the 90s today, well into the 90s tomorrow, warmest day of the year by far. Coming up on Tuesday, we're under the influence of a ridge of high pressure, but it's not real strong, but it's also nothing out there to knock it out of alignment. So we're going to cool down a little bit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. We'll still be in the upper 80s to lower 90s and lots of sunshine. We're looking good. We'll take one more detailed look at the weather forecast here before the end of this program. But first, a recap on your news. If you think there are more mosquitoes than usual in the Wenatchee Valley, well, there are more mosquitoes this year than usual in the Wenatchee Valley. The Chelan PUD says high river flows and the cold, wet spring means there's a lot of places for those blood suckers to get going, and they have. So on July 19th, the PUD will be taking measures to reduce the mosquito populations around Confluence State Park and the Haran Natural Area. The PUD plans to use a larvicide known by the brand name Vetolex GC. They say the pellets are safe for use around people and pets. If all goes as scheduled, the PUD will begin applying the larvicide at 8 in the morning on July 19th. Invasive aquatic plants have become more prevalent in Lake Chelan than they were just 8 years ago. That's the finding of a 2021 scientific survey that found 520 acres of invasive weeds in Lake Chelan's Wapato and Lower Lucerne basins. The main species of concern, Eurasian milfoil and curly leaf pondweed. The study by the Four Peaks Environmental Fund found a much wider distribution of milfoil in particular compared to a similar report in 2014. Survey organizers say the findings will help future control efforts, but they clearly indicate that the invasive weeds are well established now in Lake Chelan, and that means they have the potential to spread further. Westbound travelers on I-90 are going to encounter some delays at the summit of Snoqualmie Pass most of this week. State crews are repairing bridge decks. The Washington State Department of Transportation said there will be a 24-hour-a-day lane closure on I-90 just west of the summit beginning today, continues through Thursday. The bridges under repair are at Franklin Falls and at Denny Creek. Record cold temperatures this spring, heavy rains that continued right into summer. Well, that poses a real threat to the cherry crops here in north central Washington. On Friday, Congressmember Kim Schreier met with major fruit producers to learn how this year's bizarre weather might affect their bottom line. The 8th District Democrat sits on the House Agricultural Committee. She spoke with Wes Matheson, Mike Wade, and other produce executives at the Stemilt headquarters in Wenatchee's old station.
Well, there were a lot of takeaways. I came today to just take the pulse on the fruit industry. What has happened with this prolonged winter, with the late rain, with the hail, and how has that disrupted crops? And I've learned a ton today. Part of it is that we will not know the full impact of this crazy weather probably for months. That our farmers, our orchardists need some insurance and assurance that we'll have their backs. We talked about the Farm Bill and some of the changes needed. That involves some of those assurances. It also involves really thinking about specialty crops as we do this. When the harvesting season is delayed by weeks, you can have workers who you are paying for sitting idle. And on top of that, they get penalized. Just like last year when we had record heat, I added heat, not just drought, but excessive heat as a subcategory where you could get that extra insurance. We are doing the same thing this year with weather, rain, and cold snaps because they've affected. And we know that there will be some effect just because the blossoms were impacted. And so we know fewer blossoms means fewer apples and cherries, but it can also impact the quality and the ability to store them successfully. And so again, we may not know the impacts until later, but I want to make sure that they have protection.
And a new study by the Washington State Department of Natural Resources says there's a strong likelihood of a significant earthquake on the Seattle Fault in the next 50 to 500 years, and that would generate a tsunami as high as 42 feet at the Seattle Great Wheel, and that's where Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz used the giant wheel as a backdrop on Thursday as she discussed that study.
The Seattle Fault Zone runs across the Puget Sound and through our state's largest population center, the city of Seattle. It's imperative that we understand the hazards that are posed by an earthquake and subsequent tsunami along that fault. Recent research published by the Department of Natural Resources sheds light on where the worst impacts will be from the tsunami when, and this is not when, this is when, not if, actually, a quake strikes the Seattle Fault. We will have a quake at some point, and the question is just when will that happen? Now, the last earthquake on the Seattle Fault occurred about 1,100 years ago. The geologic record indicates a history of smaller, more frequent earthquakes every 700 years or so, placing us, unfortunately, well within the window for a seismic event. Scientists estimate about a 5 to 7% chance of an earthquake along the Seattle Fault in the next 50 years. According to our modeling, an earthquake of 7.5 magnitude would put where I'm standing right now, where you are all standing right now, under about 10 feet of water. Harbor Island, which houses so much of our maritime infrastructure, would be under as much as 40 feet of water, with tsunami waves reaching inland as far as Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park. Understanding these potential risks is critical to our preparation efforts to withstand them.
And you are in the loop on this Monday, the 11th day of July, 2022. Once again, don't forget, newscast comes your way. Grant is back in a nice 3-day vacation. I'm sure Jefferson will be happy to see Grant back, but we'll have the whole crew getting together a newscast for you tonight. At 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we believe in an informed viewer is the way to go. 5, 6, and 10 for the evening news with Grant Olson. He also handles the weather forecast, plus Eric Granstrom at the sports desk. It's good to have Eric back as well. When we take a break, when we come back, we'll have one more tour around the valley with our Valley View cameras, and we'll check the weather forecast one more time. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel. When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. Brian's Pizza and Bowling is changing their name to That Pizza Place. Now, there's still your same favorite locally owned family pizza and bowling center, That Pizza Place. Come hang out in downtown Cashmere.
The NCW Life Channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCW Life Channel today.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Let Mary Maid's custom cleaning experts help you clean up your to-do list. Between work, kids, and pets, it's hard to find time to keep up. Let Mary Maids of Wenatchee help. Mary Maid's cleaning experts can help keep your home or business fresh, neat, and exactly how you'd clean it if you only had the time. Call now for a free estimate, 509-663-1710. Serving Chelan and Douglas counties. Mary Maids, let us help.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from Localtel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from Localtel lets you decide when shows begin.
Getting ready to wrap up a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Before we take another look at our cameras around the valley, temperatures right now here in the big city, 66 degrees. So we've warmed up 6 degrees in the last hour. It'll be warmer still, as you're about ready to find out. 63 in Ellensburg. And gee, it's a little windy in Ellensburg. Go figure. Moses Lake, you're at 66. Afraid of the warm spot right now at 75. Omak is at 70. Downtown Dryden, 63. Suburban Dryden, 63 as well. Let's go ahead and take a look one more time with our cameras around the valley, because it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. Just lovely. That, of course, is our, we used to call it the cross camera because it was fairly adjacent to the iconic cross at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights. Well, about 6 months ago, they actually moved that camera quite a ways away from the cross. So I don't call it the cross camera anymore. Let's call it the Wenatchee Heights camera. We actually have a couple of those. We have one there, and we have one that we call the Wenatchee Heights East, which is closer to East Wenatchee and a little bit lower in elevation. In any event, it is a great tool, and it is a tool, not a toy. I need to remind my coworkers of that sometimes. Beautiful view of Birch Mountain, sunny slope, all of Wenatchee Valley for the most part, all of the East Wenatchee Valley for the most part, or the Wenatchee Valley proper, I should say. And the Columbia River, again, very high and very cold for mid-July. It's been running that way for a good month or so, if not longer. Camera number 2, if we're using the same cameras, and it looks like we are, that is the Rock Island camera looking out towards the Clockham area. You can see a little bit of the Columbia River as it heads out towards Spanish Castle, eventually the Palisades, and then on into Crescent Bar, Quincy, and the like. So that's a really cool view there. That Rock Island camera is really high. We've actually moved it before. I mean, we've turned it. If we had it turned, you'd be seeing Rock Island, Malaga, the Stimmel Basin, and Wenatchee Heights, but we have it pointed down towards the Spanish Castle area. Great view there. Really nice. That's some burned out grassland right there. Camera number 3. Back up to Billy Goat, USA. We have that pointed pretty much due east. So we want to say good morning to our friends up there. Pateras just out of your screen. You can see where the Methow empties into the Columbia River, and you can see a little bit of Brewster, but what you really see is, well, you can't quite make out the Gamble Sands Golf Course, which I need to get up there and play. By the way, in Omak right now, you're at 71 degrees. Beautiful view from Billy Goat with Alta Lake, the golf course, the campground, and the housing development just out of your screen. Camera number 4. Back out to, I forgot what we were doing. This is the, I forgot already, Tucker. Oh, that's right. That's the Chelan Butte camera pointing towards Waterville. Somewhere down there is the Columbia River. You can't quite make it out, but that's pointing towards the Waterville area. So if we flip that camera about, 90 degrees to the north, you would see Chelan proper and Lake Chelan. And if we moved it even more, we'd go up the lake. But why not? We have that camera. We can move them around, and we can pan, we can tilt, we can zoom. So what the heck? We say good morning to the Waterville area. And that camera is at about 4,000 feet in elevation, so it is up there a ways. We do have this slide from the National Weather Service. A friendly reminder, we will be warming up. Wenatchee is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. As you can see, more warmer still in Moses Lake. Not quite as hot in the Lilac City of Spokane. Lewiston's going to be plenty warm. What's going on? High pressure is going to build over the region. It's going to begin a warming trend over the next few days. For the record, we had 86 on Saturday and only 85, believe it or not, on Sunday, and our normal high is 87. So it was actually below normal over the weekend, but not by much, by a degree or two. We're going to be above normal, of course, with daytime temperatures, I've already told you, into the lower 90s today, mid to upper 90s tomorrow. Some areas are going to hit triple digits. In fact, they have a heat advisory for the Tri-Cities area. Pasco, Kennewick, Richland, Connell, Walla Walla. You're going to get really hot for an extended period of time. The high pressure ridge isn't necessarily big and strong, but the good news is there's really nothing out there to knock it out of alignment. So the only thing that's really going to happen once we top off at the high of about 97 on Tuesday, we're going to cool down, but nice and gradual. No problems at all from the National Weather Service. This is about as easy a forecast as we can possibly give. It's a friendly reminder. It is July. 92. Our forecast high today with quite a bit of sunshine. We're already on our way to that 92-degree mark. 66 for the overnight low, so we're going to get a mild start to Tuesday, and we're going to get all the way up to around 97 on Tuesday, our warmest day of the year by far. Expected tomorrow, 65 for the overnight low on Tuesday night. And then the gradual cool down. It's going to be a little windy, by the way, out in the Columbia Basin on Wednesday afternoon. Heads up, we don't want to see any kind of wildfire get going in those grassy areas. So watch out for out in the Columbia Basin, Grant, Adams counties. Keep your fingers crossed, obviously, with low humidity as well. Dry conditions and windy and hot is not a good mix. I think we're going to be okay. 88 the high on Wednesday. Thursday, we bump back up again to 92. We'll be hovering right about 90, 91, right through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A very pleasant weather forecast. Sunny, but not too hot, and I can live with that. And that's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good Monday. Bye-bye.